So today I'm going to show you about a new feature in Quizizz called Flashcards. So flashcards and Quizizz are very similar in a few ways to Quizlet flashcards. And again, so just another alternative to Quizlet. Um, so if I come over here to log into Quizizz and I go over here to create, you have lots of choices here. We're going to talk about each of these over time, but today we're going to talk about flashcards because many of us use flashcards in our classes. It's a good place to start. When you go to your Quizizz, create flashcards, you have a few choices. One, you can look up a topic online, see what's out there. It'll use AI tools to create something for you. You could pull from a specific article and have it create flashcards that way. You could upload a document that you already have. It does have to be a doc, a picture or PDF document, or even a PowerPoint. Or you could import from Google Drive. And then you could also copy and paste text. You could also just do it from scratch and create flashcards front, back, that way as well. So I have my notes right here for Tablet Basics. These are 2-column notes I typically have in my classes. So I just selected everything and I'm going to copy and go back to Quizizz and go to my paste text, and I'm just going to paste. Notice I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm just saying, hey, create that. It'll take a minute or two to create it. Once it's done processing your notes that you copied over, it'll create your flashcards for you automatically. You can see there's a front and back to each set of flashcards. I do recommend going through them because, again, it's AI trying to determine what everything is, and there might need to be some changes made. And then you could also add on here, for instance, I wanted to have a picture of so I wanted a picture of showing that it's a Lenovo Ultrabook. So I'm going to just go find a picture. There is a search box in here. So I'm going to click this picture maybe and say save. And then you could adjust things that way. There is some formatting up here, not a whole lot, and I wish they had it, but they don't have it yet, but bullets are not in there. So if you have multiple things listed, just put a comma between it instead, and then just save your flashcard when you're done making the changes to it. But otherwise, you could just go through here. If you need to add additional flashcards in between, you could just point your mouse between flashcards and you could add a flashcard that way. But otherwise, you could just go and edit anything that needs to be changed, and then you're ready to go. Once all your, one of the things that it also does is sometimes it doesn't give it a good name, so I'm going to call this Tablet Basics Notes one, because I did this multiple times, and you could actually give it a cover as well. And then once you're done with all those, you could hit publish. Once you have your flashcards published, that means you could share it with students. You also can't delete flashcards or assessments in Quizizz until you publish it, and then once it's published, you could actually come down here and delete it from the 3 dots under the name. And then you could preview it. You could assign it to students this way. And so if you have Google Classroom already synced with your Quizizz, you could actually say, hey, this is a practice activity. If you put a start and end time, it will put those dates in and schedule it for you to your classes as well. And then once it's there, you'll see a report on it. So for instance, I already assigned some flashcards to my students, and you could see who this one's scheduled to run for 4 of my classes on the in a couple days. So you'll see items there as well, and to see who's done it. And what's nice about this will show you, like it'll show me the students who completed all the flashcards for you. When students log into the flashcards, they're going to be asked to sign in, and they could start. It might ask them to sign in with Google too. That's always a good thing. They could also, before they start, they do have to say whether they're going to use read aloud accommodations and if they want music in the background, and they will start. And then it'll go through the flashcards. So this one has 30 flashcards. Notice there's a couple of things at the bottom saying I'm learning, I know, and flip. So they could click on the card to flip it, or they could click the flip button. They could click the little sound button.
What is a tablet ultrabook?
For any of these, front or back, and they could listen to the cards. If they feel they know that card, they could say, I know. It'll show them the next card. If they feel like, I don't know that one quite as well, I'm learning. So it'll put it into different piles. And you can see at the top, the numbers will change based on that. And then they would just go through all the flashcards and eventually they'll get done with all the flashcards, and it'll say, hey, you're done with that. And then they could restart the flashcards to study again. What teachers will see when students go through the flashcards, it will just show participants who've completed it. If they're not totally complete, then it won't say complete for them. And you could sort these by submission time or student's first or last name. But it won't show how many times they looked at the flashcards. And then once you're done having any student study the flashcards, you could say end the session, and that'll stop students from being able to use those flashcards in the future. And the nice thing is you could reopen it again later when they're doing midterms or final reviews to study old flashcards again. I hope this is helpful. It's a nice alternative to Quizlet that is built right into Quizizz and has built-in supports, audio supports, and has all the features that we could also use in other Quizizz activities.